Thank you guys for working with me on the time today, and I really appreciate you being open to changing that for me. That helped me a lot with a few things I needed to do this morning. Thought we played well. Thought the defense 1 third down, offense 1 third down, and those were two critical areas that we focused on, and we took care of the football. Didn't get any takeaways, so that was disappointing. But I think 6 of the 12 drives were like 3 and out. Just thought our defense played really, really solid outside of the first possession of the third quarter. Thought both the offense and defense started the third quarter lackadaisical. The good thing was they recognized it and owned it and quickly bounced back. So I thought that was a positive. We can't do that in the future. We've got to learn from that. But crowd was incredible, and again, special teams were really, really solid, and good to see us, go 100% for our field goal attempts. Ian did a really nice job, along with our protection snapper and holder, and Reed and Oscar. So I thought it was a solid day for sure against a team that was playing really good football, and we did some things that hopefully give us confidence heading into these last 2 SEC games, which be against 2 of the better teams in the country. A&M is loaded with NFL talent on defense, and really a problem for you unless you have just the mobility to escape them, because they're constantly putting you under pressure, and it's an issue for us. Congratulations to Peyton Thorne too on the Davy O'Brien Foundation. I think he's one of the finalists for Player of the Week or something there. Thought he had a really solid day too, and but this A&M team, I hadn't even watched their offense yet, but defensively they're a handful.
Hey, Hugh, offensively, what do you think you can take from Saturday into the A&M? You've had some success early in the season, but Saturday, what did you see that you think can translate to A&M?
Well, we need to get our playmakers involved early, and we need to win first down. I think when we've done those 2 things, we've been able to kind of get in a rhythm that gave us some confidence, and I think that showed Saturday and kind of continued throughout the game. And I think one of the secrets to that was us just not caring very much and saying, you know what, maybe it's, because the temptation when you're playing a really good defense like A&M is, man, we've got to figure out, we got to do a lot of things to try to keep them guessing on what kind of blocking scheme's coming, and then all of a sudden you're not playing with great confidence in what you're doing. And I think we've been guilty of that some this year, and I think our kids play a lot better when they feel comfortable that let's just go execute who we are. Now, are we good enough roster-wise right now to do that and win the games? I don't know, but I think that's probably the best chance and scenario for us to give our kids the chance to do it, and let's go see. So to answer your question, I think we won first down, and we were able to get into rhythms and get guys involved early, besides just Jarquez.
Hey, Hugh. Just Ian on Saturday, just how do you feel like he handled having his number called? And, I mean, do you anticipate him being the guy at kicker moving forward?
Yeah, it'd be hard to take it from him at this point because, we've and again, I think Towns is going to be outstanding. I think he's a young freshman, and all of our freshmen are making mistakes that are playing it, and kickers probably get more magnified than a DBs or defensive linemen. So I want to be sure everybody hears me loud and clear. I think his future is extremely bright. You don't get that type of leg strength often. Currently, Ian is batting 100, and those have been critical plays in some of our losses that had we made those, the whole dynamic of that game at that point kind of changes. And so we're not going to take the ball out of his hands right now. And proud that it's a great story. And, he came through when he got his number called Saturday, so he'll get another chance.
Coach, you talked a second ago about getting the ball to your playmakers. On Saturday, we saw Cam get 8 receptions after coming in with only 15 on the season. Can we expect to see you try to get the ball to him more and some of those other guys as well?
Yeah, I would love to answer that, Mike, and say absolutely we're throwing it to him 8 times, but I don't get to dictate the coverages. And I know a lot of people, yes, we can design a play to take a shot to him, but it's really hard to design a play that you guarantee he's going to get a short route thrown to him, because I don't know, man. They might be in cover 2. They might be in tight man. So it's really hard. It just happened that, early in the game Saturday, we had some RPO opportunities, and every one of them were counter to him. And then we had a couple third down throws where we ran a little mesh route, and he was the option on that. And I don't know that pre-snap that he will be, but I would love to say that he's going to get 8, and Malcolm's going to get 8, and Perry's going to get 8, and Dre's going to get 8, but I don't. That's very difficult for a coach to really know where the ball's going to go when you call one of those pass plays, for sure. But it does, I think, breed confidence when that happens.
Last home game of the season. Just talk about thoughts about that, and a big senior group as well, and how big would it be to in front of a big crowd in a night game, last home game?
Yeah, I've said it before. Our crowd has been incredible all year long, and just can't thank them enough for the support that they've given, our players and our staff and our program. And I know they'll be there loud and in strong numbers on Saturday night for this contest, and we're thankful for that. And we get to honor a bunch of seniors who have put a lot into this program. Many, obviously, in this new transfer world, some have spent more time here than others, but nonetheless, there's guys that have spent all of their time here, and for certainly we want to honor them, and I know our fans will, and it'll be sad and sentimental for some of them to play their last game, because Auburn means something to those guys, and it should. And hopefully we can send them out in a way that they'll remember it well.
You guys have faced a fair few dynamic quarterbacks this season in terms of their mobility. How much does that help your confidence level with a guy like Marcel Reed coming in?
Yeah, we, that's something that we were pretty awful at the beginning of the year. And I think we've consistently gotten better at containing those dynamic guys, and I think stats show that. I think the games prove that, and hopefully that those experiences are something that we can draw upon. And these guys are really balanced. I do know that. I hadn't watched a lot of their offense, but I've seen the stats, and I did get to see a couple of their games when they played at the different times than we played, and they're very balanced. Great running attack and obviously passing, and then the mobility of Marcel makes it even more difficult. But we face some like that, so certainly we'll draw upon those experiences, and also the thoughts that we had both pre-game to those and then post-game, should we have done something different.
Hugh, going off of that, DeMarcus had another really good game on Saturday, and I know he's been a weapon for y'all, especially against those dual threat quarterbacks. Just what all does he bring to y'all as defense with his range and just the speed he brings as a young linebacker?
Yeah, you just answered it for me. I mean, we changed when we started playing him, and not that others weren't playing well in spots, but without someone that has the ability that can run and tackle those dual threat guys in open field, it's a problem. And we had that all last year and part of this year, and he's made a difference in that because he has length and can run.
Hugh, a question about like run paradigm. You guys, the last 5 or 6 games were gapping a lot. You did a lot of zone stuff in this last game. In a perfect world, are you going to run about 50-50 on that? Or, let's say 2 years down the line, is there one that you would lean toward, or is it just based on your personnel?
Yeah, you're always going to probably lean toward zone schemes. To me, are over the spectrum of time, are probably going to be like the stock market. Over the spectrum of time, they usually are going to tend to fare out a little better than the gap schemes that are more like the crypto. That's kind of how I would put it, and because it just they can be feast or famine, and again, there's so many things that defenses can do, and if they decide they want to really wrong shoulder you with some of the size that they have on the edges here in a gap scheme, it's a mess right there at the point of attack now. And I'm not saying you can't, do things that still make it a positive play, but we certainly believe in making them defend both. But over the course of time, I think would be probably proven in my career that, the wide zone and the inside zone or the mid zone, that those three probably have less a chance of being a negative play, for sure, than some of the gap schemes.
Coach, this season obviously hasn't gone maybe the way you thought it would go as far as record is concerned. Earlier this season, you said in one of these press conferences that you talked about re-recruiting your roster. Are you finding yourself having more of those conversations these days, or is it just business as usual as you guys prepare for the next team?
I don't do much of that. I think our personnel office has been being very proactive with talking to our current roster, and Jason Campbell does an outstanding job representing our collective and some of those discussions. And there's so many changes going on in the world with what we hear might be coming in July, and you're just trying to give them accurate information. But I think you've got to be proactive, and I just work on coaching them and having genuine relationships with them. I do know that I believe that most feel that they could come and have a conversation with me, and two have, and I say I'm gonna tell you the truth, and whether you like it or not, I'm fixing to shoot it straight to you. And but most of those have gone through our personnel office, and I like it that way, truthfully. And I want to just continue to work on having real, genuine, authentic relationships and being able to coach them and develop them.
You talked about avoiding third and longs. How important is that, especially against a defense this aggressive, to stay ahead of the chains and be successful on first down, especially?
Yeah, it was the last thing when Kirk came to get me and tell me I was running late. The last thing that I'd gone through with our offensive staff was we haven't gotten the third down passes yet, but we were talking about early down passes, and Jake is sweating, with some of the things that were on the board, and we were just going through how we could maybe change a few of those things. That he wants that ball to come out pretty quick because they are dynamic. Those are 2 first-rounders on the edge, and inside they're really good too. So we better win first down and keep it in third and manageable.
Coach, just curious, I think back to a few weeks ago, you get a big win over Kentucky, and you come to your next game, and a tough loss there to Vanderbilt. How do you get things, what have been some indicators through this week you've seen that you can get some carryover, some confidence from a win here to this next game?
Yeah, our kids have kept fighting. They've kept coming to practice and working with our staff, and we've continued to try to make changes that give these young kids more and more confidence. I think you saw our young receivers played with a little more confidence Saturday, and some of it's we limited some of the things we're asking them to do. And Hopefully that success will breed over into a great week of practice and prep for an outstanding A&M team. Obviously, it's the roster you're facing here with them is different than last week, and they're one of the best in the country and competing to be in the playoffs this year, and that should excite us. It should excite us to get them at home in front of our crowd at night in Jordan-Hare, and hopefully the confidence we might have built from the success from last week will carry over.
Hey, Hugh, the Mike Elko hire wasn't necessarily considered like a buzz-worthy hire at the time, yet he's really brought a level of toughness to that team, and now they're in position of potentially playing the SEC title game. From what you've seen on them on film, what's different about this A&M team than maybe some of the past years they've had?
You know, I haven't played A&M except for last year. Prior to that, I did not see them for several years. So I think the rosters are very similar from last year to this year. They were dynamic on defense last year also. Offensively, I think they're more multiple probably and do a few more things. Maybe it's because of their dual threat quarterback now, but they do a few more things than they did last year. But there's no question that they're playing with a championship mentality and effort. And you know, I don't know Mike extremely well. Just met him back at SEC meetings, and but you know, whether it was I don't know what makes a buzzworthy hire or not, but he's getting it done and has done a really nice job.